Ever since it started in 2009, it has become like the biggest event really in Abu Dhabi, the UAE, and I would say even the region.
So great news, we just heard that tickets for Abu Dhabi's Grand Prix has gone on sale. What can you tell us about this?
This is fantastic news actually. As you know, last year the Abu Dhabi Formula One went ahead, but there were no fans.
Yeah.
And the big news now is that there's going to be fans allowed this year. 30% capacity, which is about 16,000 of the usual 55 to 60,000. It's not just the races themselves, there's like all the events that go along with them, all the Salam events taking on the side, and all the after race concerts and parties really. So it is going to the next level. Part of the reason this is happening is because Abu Dhabi's been so successful recently in holding events post-COVID.
What's happening this year that wasn't happening last year? As you said, there will be fans.
I think the biggest factor is vaccinations. I think, obviously last year, Abu Dhabi was one of the first ones to bring international events post-COVID, So we had Fight Islands 1, 2, and 3. The last of them was in January. And the first two didn't have any fans, but in January we had like 2,000 fans per night. Since then, obviously, the vaccination program in the UAE has gone forward massively. So obviously, this is a big factor. And the safety measures will still be like vaccination, but you still will have to have PCR tests within the 48 hours before to get to these Formula One events this year.
So let's say I go and purchase a ticket now. What are the things that I have access to during the event?
Right, so there's like 3 different types of tickets you can buy, 1 day, 2 day, or 3 day tickets. Obviously, having those tickets will allow you access to that day's racing and pre-racing, obviously in the whatever grandstand you're in. If you've got a 3 day ticket, then regarding the concerts afterwards, you get to choose only one of the concerts that are happening on those 3 days. If you have a 2 day ticket, then you get to choose one of those on only those 2 days. And obviously, if you have a 1 day ticket, then you just get access to that one concert. So fans won't be able to go to all 3 concerts, but considering the restrictions and the safety restrictions, this is like a massive step forward.
Are there any changes going on this year, like track changes or anything different?
Well, the news is that there will be some track changes, which is great news for like Formula One fanatics.
Yeah.
Sometimes the actual result of who's champion and who's whether it's driver or the teams has been settled, But that's okay because Abu Dhabi has consistently said that what they want is the last race of the season to be sort of a celebration of the whole season,
Yeah.
Even if the actual result is not dependent on who wins the actual title. And I think with these changes, I think it's going to be even more exciting this year because the challenge between Mercedes and Red Bull is so close, that
Yeah.
it could possibly go down to the last race.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. It seems like Formula One means a lot to Abu Dhabi and the fanatics. Can you tell us what is the real value behind Formula One?
Ever since it started in 2009, it has become like the biggest event really in Abu Dhabi, the UAE, and I would say even the region.
Yeah.
I mean, there are other Formula One races in the region and in Asia, but for us and for the Middle East, I think this is clearly the biggest event. We do have like a lot of football tournaments, we have like swimming tournaments, we have jiu-jitsu tournaments, which are very big in Abu Dhabi. But I don't think there's any specific event where the eyes of the world are like all on Abu Dhabi.
True.
And what comes along with it as well. Like all the concerts. A lot of celebrities like to come and watch it. World leaders come as well and all that. So even within the context of Formula One itself, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, it tends to attract a lot of attention, a lot more than some of the other races, which are great events in themselves,
Yeah.
like in other countries. But like because it's the last race and it's like such a sort of end of season party, really, it does attract like a lot of people from around the world, not just like sort of hardcore fans.
Post-COVID restrictions, how well has Abu Dhabi succeeded in handling big events?
The first UFC Fight Island, which was last July 2020, was probably the first international event, around the world to attract like athletes from like lots of different countries. At the time, restrictions were still pretty
Yeah.
strong, So the UAE was the first one to do it, and it was a huge success. And it was such a success that Dana White, who's the president of UFC, actually when asked about Abu Dhabi and comparing it to other places, and he said over here they're light years ahead of everyone else, which was a great line, I think, and I think this encouraged athletes to come and join for the second one, which was in September, and obviously the third one was in January. I think people not only were encouraged, by the safety measures. I think it was just so successful. And don't forget, like athletes, they were like, they don't want to be out of action. They were training with like hardly any events were taking place anywhere else in the world. So they were very excited to come here. And obviously, when they come here, they've got great facilities, great entertainment. They're looked after and all that, and it's very safe. So with each event, they became more and more excited to come. And UFC wasn't the only events. There was like we've had jiu-jitsu events. We've had like football matches obviously return recently, and also at the end of the year there's the World Swimming Championship for like short distances also in Abu Dhabi. So the success of each event has really encouraged the next one and made the next one like more and more sort of viable. And but obviously like this is the biggest one so far. Like in January when we had UFC, the maximum amount of fans were 2,000 at the new Etihad Arena. But like for this one, obviously 16,000, and there's a possibility of also like of a lot of people coming from overseas. It will still be, under, with restrictions, with safety measures in place.
How do you think all of this fits in with the UAE's 50th anniversary celebration? I
think it's very timely. I think in the past we've actually been lucky where like the actual race weekend has landed on the same weekend as the Formula One Grand Prix. This year it'll be a week after, or I think 5 days after, and I think it's still perfect timing, really, because there's going to be like a lot of celebrations, obviously, for the 50th anniversary, and I think there are like plans to, that this will be like remembered during the event as well. So I think it just extends, sort of the festivities and the celebration will extend into that weekend, and and again I think people are just so excited and have missed these events like for so long that I think it's going to be a great atmosphere.